Christine, queen of technician man, had something to say. Her belly had to be burning. Hello, welcome back to my channel, Vamps, and if you're new, welcome. Thank you for joining us for this recap of Too Hot to Handle Season 5. Don't forget to like and subscribe, join the Vamps squad, and let's get right into this mess. So episode 5 opens with Isaac wanting to have a chat with Courtney to tell her, look, I met somebody new and I am ready to jump ship and go with her. And Courtney's not having that. Courtney's like, but just last night, you were having an intimate moment with me and I thought things were good. I thought things were genuine. And he had the nerve to be like, I'm the most genuine guy in the house. Sir, why are you lying? He had the gall, the gumption, the audacity to tell Courtney Yasmin is a nice girl and he wants Courtney to get to know Yasmin. I could have feel the rage bubbling and boiling on her face. I was like, I'm with you, sis. Let's take the pitchforks. Because I don't know what man is he could be talking about. He want you to meet the other woman. Like, men just think. And then he was like, oh, can we hug it out? And Courtney was like, no, I don't want to hug you. Courtney was doing what Megan should have done, honestly. So now the big cliffhanger of episode 4 is if Christine kisses Trey. We finally get some answers and Christine says no, she did not kiss Trey. She really thinks she has something good with Louis and she wants to make it work there. And I'm not surprised, like there was no way that editing was tricking me that she kissed Trey. There was no chemistry, like I don't even remember her giggling, not once. But she goes over to talk to Louis and Louis is just like, oh, he's so happy, he's so relieved. But you know what? Louis had the nerve to say that if Christine had kissed Trey, that they would have been done. And I'm like, Louis, you forget you were telling Christine one thing and doing the next? Like, do we have convenient memory here? And he's like, oh, I can see why you would have been upset with what I did with you and Hannah and you were justified and stuff. And I was like, yes, she was. There was no question about if you were wrong, you were wrong. So after the night of these new additions in the house, everybody is kind of just now trying to settle back in from all of the excitement. Things have been switched. Yasmin and Isaac, they've decided to share a bed. Yasmin is kind of like, I hope that everything goes well because she's new to the house. She doesn't know anybody. And she talks to Isaac a bit about like, how did everything go with Courtney? He basically said she didn't take it well. He doesn't understand why, because they weren't that serious. And she was saying that she was feeling a little nervous. And you know what that man does? He tells her that she's pretty. He completely redirects her attention and just started bombarding her with compliments. And I was like, Yasmin, if you don't get away from him fast and in a hurry, you are gonna learn. So later in the episode, we see Louis and Christine. They're talking about how good of a connection they're forming, but at the same time, they miss the physical. And they're talking about how they need to be good and they need to respect the rules. Lana calls them out. Lana is like, I want y'all to be able to respect each other and I need people to take my rules seriously, and that really shows commitment in relationships and stuff like that. So later in the episode, we see Yasmin and Courtney finally get a chance to talk. And Courtney basically tells Yasmin, you know what? Don't pay that man no mind, because just last night he was in my bed and he was cuddling up with me and telling me about how good of a connection we have, how genuine he thinks it is. And Yasmin, as she left the conversation, I think it was really starting to like sink in, because she started to realize like, yeah, maybe I should keep my eye open in case he jumps ship again. It's a possibility. So now that we have new arrivals in the house, we start to see some people trying to make other connections, and one person that does this is Hannah. I don't know about you guys, but Hannah is giving off very desperate energy and it's not looking good for her. She's not an ugly girl. I think Hannah is very pretty, but something about her energy is giving off like I need it and I need it now, and it's scaring the men, and that takes a lot to do. So she goes up to Trey and they're having a conversation, and Trey is as boring as I said that he was in the first episode he arrived in. He has nothing to add to this conversation. Hannah is basically pulling teeth, and she asks him about his hobbies. He said he used to play baseball. So Hannah mentions to Trey that she used to do track back at school, and he basically says, yeah, it sucks. And I'm like, sir, if you're trying to get to know somebody, do not call their hobbies like trash. Don't tell them that they suck. I mean, unless they're like into some very weird stuff. And why would you say that? Hannah tries so hard. Like at one point she tries to go the extra mile. She's like, I'm gonna pull out my dance moves, and she starts doing she starts doing some things that I could not comprehend, and the secondhand embarrassment was so strong I had to look away from the screen. I was like, no, what is she doing? Why would she do this? And she's shaking and she's twirling and she's gyrating, and it's just not doing anything for Trey. Like, Trey was so uncomfortable, that poor man. After Hannah's embarrassment, we see the group get called to the cabanas by Lana to tell them that the rules have been broken again by Louis and Christine. And this time, they have spent $48,000 on rule breaks. So Lana puts them on the ultimate test to let them spend a night in the private suite. If they can spend it without breaking any rules, they win back that $48,000. If they can't, they lose an additional $48,000. And on top of that, the group has to vote on if they're gonna trust them and relinquish that $48K, or if they're not gonna put no money towards them because they've clearly shown they can't be trusted. So the night passes. Christine and Louis spend their night in the private suite. Although Christine was really being an instigator, like, I find whenever it's time for the private suite, the women are always the aggressors. They're always the ones that are like, yeah, let's do this, or they're flirting, or they're like trying to tease the guy into like breaking rules. Because we've seen it in other seasons. So in episode 6, we see Louis and Christine. We finally get the verdict from Lana. They did not break any rules, and everybody is over the moon. Like, Dre could literally kiss Louis and Christine himself for saving them some money. So now everybody is of the opinion, since we have money in the pot, let's spend some money. I don't know where this thinking has come from, but everybody now wants to break some rules. Alex and Elise especially, they seem to be having a hard time not breaking rules. And you see them doing their workout session together. They're extra flirty, extra touchy. Obviously, they're not touching in ways that they would break rules, but at the same time, they're getting dangerously close. And they're starting to think, like, you know what, maybe a little rule break won't be so bad. And let's keep that in mind, because they're thinking it's a little rule break, and it turns out to be a big rule break. Also, we see Hannah decide whatever she was doing or thinking of doing with Trey was not working, so she sets her sights on Isaac. And I have to say, Hannah was really making sure she got that screen time, because at this point she's now tried with Louis, she's tried with Trey, and now she's moving on to Isaac. Isaac, we've seen, is the head dog. He is the leader of the dog pack, and she's thinking she's gonna get in there. She's gonna squeeze in between him and Yasmin, and she's gonna get Isaac at the end of the day. So she makes her first move. She's a bit flirty, you know, she's coming on strong because she wants to let him know, like, this is what she's working with. You know, everybody's way of getting through some of these rules is rubbing lotion, like sunscreen, like cream, something to, you know, be touchy-feely. And that is where Hannah makes her move. And clearly Isaac is a very simple-minded man. Like, that, I don't know how that was enough to really rouse, like, pique his curiosity. But suddenly Yasmin is not the wonderful girl that he had so much in common with that he told Courtney. She is now boring because she doesn't want to break the rules, and he is looking more for a hookup than anything else. When Yasmin told him, like, you know, I do think that we're building something here, but I don't want it to be physical, I just want us to take our time, I realized that Isaac was not about it. Isaac was here for a good time and not a long time, and he might be the one leaving the retreat, because at this point he's been with 3 girls, and who knows, maybe there's even a 4th. So in episode 6, Lana has decided that the group can finally get rewarded with some watches. These are the watches that go green whenever somebody makes a really strong connection. So everybody's excited. They're hoping that their watch is gonna glow green so they can get their chance for, you know, some attention that doesn't break the rules and cost them money. And Alex and Elise, they are too thirsty. I have not seen anything genuine to say like they're a legit couple. Like, he's betraying and it don't be working for me. Because he was telling Elise, oh, you're so beautiful, and he was saying things that he thought would get them the green light, and it was coming off so disingenuous. Like, why would I give y'all the green light if it doesn't seem that y'all actually care about each other and you're just doing it because you want to hook up? That defeats the whole purpose of the green light, guys. And Elise is just looking at her watch like, oh, when is it gonna glow? Like, that's not how it works. So we see in their confessionals, Alex and Elise, they both think that they're not the types to get like mushy and talk about their feelings, and so they believe they're not gonna get the green lights. They decide, you know what, let's just break the rule because we're never gonna get that green light anyway, and they do it by having a kiss. As we know, a kiss is $3,000 and it's doubled to $6,000. Alex and Elise, they've already admitted that they broke the rules. However, Lana has done some calculations and they have determined that the kiss lasted for 12 minutes. And everybody is like, you know what I could have done in 12 minutes? Everybody starts listing off all the things they could have gone and done in 12 minutes. So they calculate that their kisses cost them $36,000. Everybody loses their mind. You know, the accountant Dre could not stand to think of it. He was thinking about the money he could use to help his sister for college, all these other things, and everybody was in shock, in disbelief, and I was just laughing because this group is actually very annoying and very unserious. I'm gonna admit it. I'm gonna say it right now. This is my least favorite group of this entire show. I don't really feel very invested in anybody here. So after recognizing that Elise has no intention of opening up and some of the other girls are also struggling, they decide to do a ladies workshop. And at that workshop, we have Shambudi. You know, she has usually done work with Netflix. And she comes in and she tells them, well, we are going to do a workshop where we open up, where we can talk about our feelings as women. Elise says that her approach to relationships has been very blasé. After seeing her parents divorce, after being together for so long, she doesn't really approach them intentionally. And Hannah also says, like, you know, I don't really commit. Like, why would I settle for one guy when I can have like 5? Girl, you could take that much men humbugging you every day. Like, I could not stand the thought of having 5 men messaging me. Like, I would go crazy. What you doing? What you doing? What you doing? So after talking about their feelings, they start to release all of that energy with a scream. And I'm just looking at my screen like, let's carry on. Elise now decides she's gonna come back to Alex and approach things differently. They have a nice little chat, and at the end of it, they actually think that they've formed a genuine connection. They get the green light and they have a moment for a kiss. It does not last 12 minutes, thank goodness. Later that evening, we see Hannah and Yasmin. Both of them are getting dressed for what's supposed to happen for the rest of the night. And Hannah is in this cheetah print leotard, this one piece. And I didn't really like the outfit, but she thought she was doing something. So if you like it, I love it, girl. She shows up to Isaac and she's like, you know, an animal is approaching you. And basically says like, yeah, I know what I want you, and you know, you have to make your choice because I can't stand to see you with Yasmin anymore. So Isaac decides that he's going to make his choice tonight. At this point, this man is already at the top of the dog list. Where can we put him, guys? Like, he has surpassed the dog list because he comes into the bedrooms, the sleeping quarters. Hannah is in one bed, Yasmin is in another. He bypasses Hannah and steps into bed with Yasmin. Everybody's like, okay, all right, that's normal. Even Desiree is like, well, at least he had a good sense to stick with Yasmin. This man can get low, lean into Yasmin's ear and tell her, you know what, we're gonna have to talk about this better tomorrow, but for tonight, I'm not sleeping with you. I'm sleeping with Hannah. All Yasmin could do is really just lay in bed, like, yeah, okay. But I know she had to be sick. Her belly had to be burning because Courtney warned her about that man, right? And she was all like, you know what? Maybe I should take heed. But she didn't listen. She didn't listen. Harder is you won't hear or only you gonna feel. And she feel that night, cause that man went in Hannah's bed. Get into Hannah's bed. And poor Yasmin just had to lay down alone watching it happen. I felt for her, to be honest, because despite how she came into the house, I felt like Yasmin has actually only ever been like very, very genuine. Like, she liked Isaac, she stick with Isaac. Like, she hasn't really been flirty, doing anything intentional to break the rules. So that's why I kind of felt for Yasmin as well. And that's why I just can't trust these men. You don't trust these men. And that is where episode 6 ends off. Now we're into episode 7. Everybody wakes up. It is a very tense and awkward situation because just the other night, Isaac was in Yasmin's bed and now he is sleeping with Hannah. And this has not happened once, but twice. So now everybody's just like, bro, what you doing though? You messing up things for people in the house though. Even Christine, queen of Technician Man, had something to say. Like, Christine was like, oh, Louis, come call me Louis. Christine was like, Isaac, what you did was not right. You should have a conversation. Courtney also chimes in. Courtney is like, you know what? You are not genuine. Like, the way how you spring things on people doesn't make you a good guy. Like, you should have a conversation, man up, and, you know, like, make sure that your intentions are known to avoid people's feelings getting hurt. I mean, you can try your best. Sometimes people's feelings will always get hurt, but it's the way you handle the situation, and he did not handle it the right way anyways. So he's just like, oh, I felt like I was being genuine. I don't know why everybody's blowing it out of proportion. And that's something a F-boy would say. Like, he was talking and I was shooting the whole time, because, and the thing is, I do not find Isaac attractive. I don't know if it's because of the persona he has been given on the show, but just seeing his behavior really has knocked him down a lot of notches for me personally. And Hannah also chimes in when everybody was calling out Isaac. Hannah actually says, like, when it was my turn and, you know, Christine took away my man, because don't forget, Christine is the queen of Tech Wishy Man. Nobody said anything. That's what Hannah said. Hannah said nobody said anything when it was done to her, and I felt like she was kind of trying to say that they were being hypocrites. And it was so funny because everybody's just be doing whatever they feel like doing, and there's a lot of hypocrisy in the house, but it is what it is. So as we have seen, Elise and Alex have been forming much deeper connections. They're having a bit of pillow talk, and that pillow talk is starting to make Elise nervous. She is starting to feel like, yeah, I'm getting very uncomfortable in this situation, in this dynamic. I think I'm gonna have to run. Because she was just like, what is this man talking about? I do not want to be tied down to this man. I do not want to be married. I don't want to have children. Like, she was ready to get on up out of there. I thought that was cute. Like, I felt like that was their one genuine moment, but so now we get the last set of arrivals into the house. Her name is Lindsay. His name is Bryce. Lindsay actually is very attractive. I think I actually really like Lindsay's style. Lindsay seems really infectious as well. And then Bryce is described as like a Channing Tatum lookalike. I don't know if I would really say he looks a lot like Channing Tatum, to be honest. He just has that buzz cut. So Lana is bringing these two into the house to test the existing couples to see if they can trust each other. Lindsay chooses to go on a date with Louis, and Bryce chooses to go on a date with Elise. So Louis and Lindsay are on their date. They're all having a good time. Louis came in saying he was not going to do anything. He was going to be good. And by the end of this date, Louis was faltering. Them little cocktails like it was going to Louis' head. Because why is Louis grabbing her boobs? Why was Louis' hand on her boobs? Louis, what are you doing? And by the time he removed those hands and that grip was gone, I knew that he regretted what he did. He was just like, what did I just do? Whereas Elise, on the other hand, she thought that Bryce was just her type. However, she did not do anything with Bryce. She just felt like what she had with Alex was stronger than anything she would find out there, and she was content with where she was. So on the date, we see Christine get the chance to decide if she's gonna let Louis stay for the duration of the day or if she's gonna switch one of the other guys with Louis. So Christine is back and forth. She's just like, you know, I always had trust issues, but I don't want to just like not give somebody the opportunity to explore. And I just felt like at this stage in the game, y'all are not set up for people to really find connection. Because why are you sending people that are already in a relationship out on a date? Send somebody like Dre or somebody like Trey or any Courtney, all the other people that aren't paired up. Give them a chance to meet somebody new, because Louis out there grabbing that woman's boobs to come back and cause havoc with him and Christine for what? For what? Like, we almost 2 episodes out to the end of the show. What was the point of that? So anyways, Christine finally caves and she decides she's gonna pull Louis from the date. She couldn't have thought of that any sooner, because any longer he probably would be rolling up in the sand with Lindsay. So Dre comes out. Dre is just happy to be there, to be honest, and he starts, you know, have conversation with Lindsay, but Lindsay ain't here to talk. Lindsay's not here for no dialogue. Lindsay was liking what she had with Louis because it was very flirtatious, very sexual energy, whereas Dre was trying to follow Lana's rules and be a good boy, and that was not really working in his favor. So we see them get back to the house. Louis and Christine chat. He's telling her he did nothing. Christine is over the moon. Oh, my man came back to me and he didn't kiss anyone. He didn't do anything. But we know what Louis did. And he decides he's not going to tell her that. And he decides he's also not going to let Lindsay and Christine have a chance to talk. So while everybody's gathering around trying to meet Lindsay, she is saying that while she was on the date, she felt like her and Louis had great sexual chemistry, good energy. And Courtney's like, why would you say that? Do tell us more. And she just felt like he was making a lot more eye contact, and you know, things were very flirty with them. Whereas with Dre, like, it was more of like very deep conversation. On the other hand, Elise comes back. Alex had decided to let her stay for the duration of the date to make sure that Elise knew that he trusted her. And when they came back, they had a good chat. Elise tells him, like, you know, nobody's gonna have as good banter as you do. And they actually get a green light for that. And I'm like, okay, all right. So after hearing that Lindsay was more attracted to Louis because he, you know, showed more interest and he had more sexual chemistry with her, Dre starts to get, you know, annoyed, and he's like, I'm out here trying to follow these rules, but that's what's stopping me from getting the girls. So he decides he's gonna lay on the charm, and he takes Lindsay off after Louis is like, can y'all take her somewhere else other than here around my woman before she spills the beans? So Dre takes Lindsay for a tour of the villa, and that's where, you know, they're in the bathroom, they're talking, they've had a few cocktails by now, and Lindsay's just like, oh, he's looking really hot now, all that. And that is where the resident accountant breaks rules. Finally, Dre gets a kiss and he is, you know, going in for the kill. I was like, good for you. You needed to loosen up a bit. And that is where episode 7 leaves off. We now have to see how these rest of episodes are gonna play out. I honestly don't even know who I would give the money to because this group was so unserious. Like, this was my least invested group. I don't know how you guys feel. Leave a comment. Let me know how y'all feel about the pairings this season. Let me even know how y'all feel about the individuals this season, because I felt like this cast was all over the place. The energies was just all over the place. I don't know if they really meshed well as a group as a whole. But that's it for my recap. Come back to join me for the last few episodes. I'm not sure if we're gonna get a reunion, but we'll see. And thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.